You can listen to the Canadian Gothic early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
Saskatoon restaurant has been temporarily closed after a customer shared a photo showing a cockroach on a grilled cheese sandwich.
Then in 2024, she got a letter from a law firm representing ginger, sporty, baby, posh and scary. It wasn't what she really wanted.
You might be getting, I think you will be getting a case from Cove of their marvelous soda, of what you've described it. It sounds amazing.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Hey, it's Marin Airport. We're back for episode 204 of Keep Canada Weird. Like we do every other time, tonight we're going to keep Canada weird by seeking out, highlighting, and exploring all the weird news from the past week. But before we get into that, let me ask you, how you doing over there?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm just, adjusting to my new life post-play that I was in.
You did something. It's exhausting to do something, right?
It is exhausting to leave the house in general. So I was leaving the house for a little while there, working on a show. Show ran for a while at the Boardmore Playhouse here in Cape Breton, and now it is closed. And now I'm back in the apartment, and I'm just not sure if I should leave the house again.
You don't have to ask, but I'll just let you know. Things are going great up here, and I'm very excited about getting into the special drinks tonight. Can I unveil mine?
Of course you can. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go first,
I don't like sipping on it until I tell you about it, and I really want a sip of my hot tea, but tonight I'm double fisting. I do have a hot tea, but I also got this thing, it's like some kind of like coconut water. The brand name is Bay. B-A-I, but being a Cape Bretoner, I just call it Bai, but it's a coconut water. I figure between my coconut water and my caffeinated tea, I got all the bases covered tonight. What do you got over there?
I have a special drink, and it's not a Cove soda.
Slow down. Don't get worked up yet. What do you got?
No, I've got a zero sugar orange Fanta.
I like that stuff. I've tried that before. The Orange Fanta, a couple months back, they did a kind of tie-in with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So the orange one, when you bought that flavor, the Freddy Fazbear, the main character from Five Nights at Freddy, was on the bottle. And that's my oldest son's favorite video game movie franchise. So anyway, I had a sip of my tea. It was delicious. It hit some of that orange pop, and let me know what you think.
Let me crack it open. It's in a bottle, so there'll just be a fizzy sound here. Oh, very light.
Like a dull fizz.
A dull fizz. Yeah, here we go. Delish.
I think everyone listening senses the elephant in the room. There's something that neither of us are drinking, something that we were promised to be sent to us. We'll get to it. Let's let another listener join in and share their special drinks. Tonight, we're going to have Sir Sean. We knighted him last week. He was the one who got on the horn, got in touch with Cove, and tried to make some things happen. Sean wants to join us for his special drink.
Hello, Aaron and Jordan. This is Sean in Vancouver. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that you might be getting, I think you will be getting a case from Cove of their marvelous soda, of what you've described it. It sounds amazing. And I'm glad I can be of help. And I'm really grateful that you've knighted me. I mean, I've always felt uncomfortable about people calling me sir. Now I no longer have to, because it is accurate. Now I've been knighted. I am Sir Sean. So that's amazing. And I'm going to share my special drink. I walked to the local Safeway here in Vancouver. I got Dr. Cove. I guess it's like Dr. Pepper. And I'm going to share that with you now, my special drink. Here we go. First time ever trying Cove soda. Marvelous. It does taste like Dr. Pepper. So I'm thrilled beyond belief, and keep Canada weird.
Among the first knights of the Keep Canada Weird Army, Sir Sean, we're happy to have you. But that drink leaves us a little conflicted. I don't know how we want to address this. Let's maybe recap. What is so important about today? We're recording this on March 4th. Aaron, what's so important about this date?
Well, 2 weeks ago today, We declared on this show that if Cove Soda does not respond to us, then we would officially ban and boycott. So today was the deadline for them to get back to us. And this is where it gets tricky, is that we have received some correspondence from Cove. However, are we happy with it? Will it prevent a boycott? That's what we're going to decide tonight.
Okay, because last week we read the message we received from Cove that coincidentally we received, I think it was like a day before we went to air last week, and that was them telling us they love the podcast, they love what we're doing here, they love the vibe, and they want to send us some Cove. Coincidentally, we got that message after you and I both wrote them several times, heard nothing back, but then when listeners started calling and emailing them, that was when they reached out to us. And I want to take this moment to give a bit of a shout out to some of the other Cove Soda advocates who have been fighting for Keep Canada Weird. I've been CC'd, like carbon copied, on emails to Cove from Rob B., Linda in Maine, Sue P., Terry H., and Carrie J., as well as others. I've gotten so many emails from people that are telling me that they're corresponding with Cove on our behalf. So I'm sure Cove Corporate knows about our podcast now and probably regret the day they didn't respond to our emails. But here's where it gets complicated, as you said. As we heard from them last week, they said they were going to send us something. We're here recording at the deadline without Cove Soda.
That's right. We don't have any of the product in our hands from them. There was some promises made. Mm-hmm. And also in the correspondence with Cove, there were certain red flags that I didn't care for. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you feel about it, but we're going to work through this tonight together.
Yeah, the initial correspondence we read last week, to me, sounded a bit like a forum or a template. Like it wasn't that personalized. It did have the word podcast, but aside from that, it wasn't that personalized. Some of the messages sent to listeners that were like Cove emailing with listeners also to me came across as a bit of a template, which made me think, like, was someone even actually doing this, or is this automated AI thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even in some of the correspondence that I've seen, where there was one that I think we might have read last week, where in the message they say, we're big fans of your podcast and absolutely love what you're building, which reads as disingenuous to me, because if they are in fact big fans of the podcast, then what took them so long to respond and to reach out and to, because first off, we've been talking about Cove Soda favorably for months and months and months, and maybe 2 years or something. We've had Cove Soda periodically on the show talking about how much we enjoy it and what we like about it, and featuring it as a special drink many, many times. Now with the boycott looming and the deadline here right now, in the messaging that they've sent, they have insinuated that they are big fans of the show, they love the show, this and that. But if they listen to the show, they would know that there's a boycott, and it's scheduled tonight.
Well, here's the thing, is I have a feeling they may be aware of the boycott. And you can't make this stuff up. We start our recordings every Wednesday night at 9:15 p.m. Atlantic time. At 9:10 p.m. Atlantic time tonight, 5 minutes before we went to air, I got an email from Cove. Of course, we don't have the pop here yet. We've talked about that. They said they were going to send us something. We didn't get it. 5 minutes before we go to air, short and sweet email. Hey guys, just a heads up, your order was just shipped out, so be on the lookout for some goodies. XOXO, Cove.
XOXO.
5 minutes before we go to air. Is that not a pretty big coincidence? 5 minutes before the army that's been knocking on their door begins boycotting their products.
Right.
So maybe they do listen, and maybe they know about this. And further to that, maybe they're backpedaling, and let me tell you why. Like, I think we have a voicemail here from a correspondent named Brianna, and I think she may be onto something, because there was a change in Cove's attitude towards this whole situation.
Hey guys, This is Brianna from Maine here. I had a theory on why Cove Soda hasn't responded to you, or at least didn't in a timely manner. As you may know, there were some of your listeners that liked being banned. They seemed to want the ban, and maybe Cove Soda wanted to be banned as well. But then you started changing it up and using the word boycott. And so they got a little bit scared at that point and thought that sending you the email finally was a good time so that they didn't get a full boycott. They only wanted the ban.
What do you think of that? Because I think that really would check out. That would line up. Maybe someone at Cove Corporate is a fan of the podcasts. Here's you banning people. They enjoy it. They want to be banned. So they let it happen. But then when it starts to switch and the tide turns to a boycott, they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but if they were true fans of the show, like they say that they are, they would know that banning is a very consensual activity, and it takes two to ban. So when listeners want to be banned, they call in, they leave a voicemail trying to get banned, and then we ban them. So it's
We've never banned someone for a cold shoulder.
We've never banned somebody who didn't want and ask to be banned. So that's why I don't think, it's an interesting theory, but I don't think it's correct, because if Cove wanted to be banned, then they would understand how important consent is.
That's
with
true.
Banning and communication as well.
That is true. And the communication's been the issue. Interesting theory, Brianna, but yeah, the jury's still out on it. But where does this stand then? They said they were sending us pop. The deadline is now. They didn't send us pop. 5 minutes before we begin our recording session, they write us to let us know it's shipped. Is that enough? I'm going to leave this in your hands.
Well, there's another message here too that I think we have that also adds a bit of fuel to the fire here.
Yeah, this is actually one of the correspondents or advocates who fought on our behalf with Cove Soda forwarded us the email that Cove wrote to them. Do you want to read it?
Yeah. So it says, "Hi, Terry. This message made our day, truly. We love hearing that Canadian Gothic is bringing comfort and connection, and we are always excited to see Canadian creators and listeners supporting each other. That community energy is what we are all about. We are proud to be a Canadian brand, and we never take it for granted. When people choose to share Cove with their favorite shows," highlight that. I'm going to read it again, actually. "We are proud to be a Canadian brand, and we never take it for granted when people choose to share Cove with their favorite shows. We see the passion, we appreciate it, and we are cheering right alongside you. Thanks for reaching out and for caring enough to speak up. That kind of support is what keeps good things bubbling. All the best, Team Cove."
So what's your issue with that?
I have two issues with this. Firstly, it sounds like it was written by AI. Just in the language, especially in, "We love hearing that Canadian Gothic is bringing comfort and connection." That sounds like they have no idea what Canadian Gothic is.
And it brings comfort. What?
And connection. Like, what are they talking
connection
about?
I could see because we have the people fighting for us and going to bat on our behalf. So I could see that. But other than comfort and connection both starting with C, there's a bit of alliteration or whatever there. But aside from that, that's a weird choice of words.
Just
So, yeah,
weird.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not a human being being like, "Oh, wow, we're so happy." Like, it just does not read like a human being. And another part of it that I want to highlight that I read twice is they say, "When people choose to share Cove Soda with their favorite shows," but it should be the other way around. We were sharing Cove Soda with our listeners. So that's why I think another piece of evidence that AI wrote this, and it's another piece of evidence that proves that they don't listen to the show and they don't truly understand what is happening here.
I feel like what's happening is a boycott.
So having said and read and contemplated all of this evidence that we have before us. We still don't have the pop. And also another piece of evidence, and why we should have the pop already, is that I don't, but you are within stone's throw of Cove Soda. You are.
I could walk
to Cove Soda. So the fact that they didn't say, hey, we see that you're close by. Why don't you pop by, pick up some product, and we'll give you a tour of the facility, and it'll be a good social media moment. And like, if they truly understood like the situation and listened to the show and knew what was happening here, then that's what any sensible company would have done.
I feel like you're right.
So
I feel like your decision's made.
I want us to make this together.
Okay. I'm comfortable with a boycott so long as the door remains open, that if the package shows up and there is pop in it, that's the olive branch, and we will choose to accept it at that point. But I don't want it to be a permanent boycott and ban indefinitely. I'd say the boycott and the ban is on, starting now until new evidence comes and allows us to.
Because we need to see how much pop they send us. If it's just,
I'd say if we get 2 pop, I think I'd be happy.
If it's just a 6-pack and there's no merch or there's no.
So you want coasters and 12 pop?
I don't know what I want. I just want some evidence.
Because it's just so you know, it started with you wanted email. You wanted them to respond to your email.
Of course, I know. I know. This was originally just looking for a response, but I'm not convinced that they are responding. I am leaning towards this. These are AI responses. They're AI generated, and we'll have to see what this package is that they send. So unfortunately, they took 1 step forward by responding, but then 2 steps back by what they responded with. So having said all that, I agree with you. There will be a door left open for Cove to reverse the boycott, but officially starting tonight, March 4th, although this episode will come out 2 days later, but officially as of March 4th, 2026, the boycott of Cove Soda is on. So everyone, listeners out there, Keep Canada Weird Army now must boycott Cove Soda going forward and tell everyone.
We mean business. There isn't only listeners and correspondents and advocates writing and calling on our behalf. Apparently in Boston, it's actually getting quite hairy. We have a listener named Dennis who's letting us know about some protests that have broken out that he's involved in. Listen to what Dennis has to say about his action against Cove.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Dennis from Massachusetts, the birthplace of the Boston Tea Party. And guess what? Cove Soda is being sold here. And I showed up to Whole Foods to protest it. And of course, the employees would not let me take a picture or a video. Resistance in the United States is still here.
So he's gone to bat on our behalf. And that could, I don't know, that could heat up. There could be other people in the Keep Canada Weird Army that are going to hear what Dennis is doing and feel emboldened or empowered. I'm not suggesting anyone do that. I think the boycott is where it needs to stand. I'm sure we'll be revisiting this topic, but let's put it away for now. The bad blood is behind us. We got to get into the weird Canadian news stories. We started with a lot of talk about food because we've been talking about Cove Soda now for what seems like a very emotional eternity. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll continue to talk about food. We have a first in Keep Canada Weird history. Our first segment of weird news stories all relate to food seasoning. After a short break, we're going to hear 2 weird news stories about food seasoning. Handsome Aaron Airport. It's going to get gross here. A Saskatoon woman says she was halfway through a grilled cheese sandwich when she realized it was an ingredient not mentioned on the menu. Let's hear the story of the grossest sandwich in Saskatoon.
This sandwich served up a shocking surprise for Tori Redmond.
I noticed there were a bunch of little black spots all over it, and I was like, oh, it's just a dirty grill. And then I saw a big black blob, and then I saw the legs, and I was like, oh.
Redmond says she was eating a grilled cheese from Pink Cadillacs when she noticed what appeared to be a cockroach in her sandwich.
I showed my friend, and he confirmed it for me, and it was all downhill from there.
She shared her experience on social media, where it quickly gained attention. Shortly after, owner John Tyson apologized online, saying, quote, "I take my business seriously. We spray every 2 weeks and have no idea how this happened and truly sorry." Redmond says she appreciates the response.
I think they did a good job with the owner kind of like owning up to it and shutting down right away.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority told CTV News it suspended the restaurant's license until confirmation that corrections have been made. It adds Tyson has been cooperative throughout the process. The restaurant's inspection reports from Monday and Friday of this week say there are still pest control issues. SHA reports show dozens of other restaurants in Saskatoon have also faced pest control issues within the past year. Meanwhile, Redmond says the experience has left her more careful when eating out.
I'm going to check my food a lot more, especially I don't know if I could ever eat a grilled cheese again.
That is disturbing. For people who only heard the audio, the way the grilled cheese sandwich looks, like we see photos of it in that news story because she took photos and put it up online, but it looks almost like if you fried or your grilled cheese on a grill that just maybe wasn't properly cleaned. So there's a couple little like black dots that are almost like pepper or something. You've seen stuff like that, I'm sure, from grilling. It looks like that, except in the center, there's one that's clearly bigger and juicier than the other. And it's a cockroach that has been like grilled and pressed right into the bread. I don't know how anyone who was cooking this didn't notice it, but it's absolutely disturbing. And she didn't find it herself until she was like halfway through the grilled cheese.
Yeah. It's really disgusting. It's unfortunate for the restaurant too. It does sound like they were they were genuinely surprised by it, and they even said that we spray every 2 weeks and we take these things seriously, etc. But it just every now and then one gets past the goalie, and
yeah, you'd think the cook would have noticed it though. Like it's again it's not like the bug is inside the sandwich. It's a black grilled cockroach stuffed into the white bread of the sandwich, so it stands out like a sore thumb. You think he or she was, while they were grilling it, would have seen this.
Certainly wouldn't notice if the cockroach got on the grill, though, if it's similar color.
Yeah, but
grills are usually black in color, similar to cockroaches, and
yeah, maybe you wouldn't see it on the grill, but as you're flipping the sandwich and then you serve it up and that stuff, you'd think that's when you would have seen it.
I mean, busy kitchen though, and you're just kind of going real quick. And I mean, do restaurant workers inspect every sandwich that they put on a plate after they've cooked it?
I wish too, but I mean, there's no time for that. Yeah, and I'm sure there's so much gross stuff that ends up in and around our food, but I feel like this is especially bad because you see it, it's disgusting. All the other little black dots that are on the sandwich look like they're probably pieces of the cockroach that are like cooked, like its legs and stuff like broke off as it was being grilled. It's disturbing. And she says at the end of that news clip, I don't think I can ever eat a grilled cheese again. I feel the same way seeing this. Next time I cook a grilled cheese or I'm served one, I'm going to remember this story.
Yeah, I'll still eat grilled cheese sandwiches. I love them.
So good. They're so good. Do you put anything else in other than cheese?
I've been known to put some bacon in there.
What about some apple jelly jam? Have you ever done that?
I've never done it, but it sounds good.
Yeah, when you go to Prince Edward Island, there's a grilled cheese shop that's like kind of infamous, or I guess famous there. They put like apple jelly jam inside of the sandwich, and it's so delicious I can't make them now without it. Anyone out there who has apple jelly jam in their fridge, I don't know why you would. It's not a very common jam, but it's delicious in a grilled cheese.
Yeah. You know what else would be good in a grilled cheese? It just dawned on me is sun-dried tomatoes.
I'm not a tomato guy. No, thank you.
But do you eat sun-dried tomatoes?
No.
It's a whole different ball game to regular tomatoes. Oh, yeah. They're delicious. Oh, my God.
Because my issue with tomatoes often is the texture. To me, they taste like apples that are like pulled out of the compost or something that squishy, juicy.
These are totally different. They're sun-dried, so their consistency is much firmer, chewier.
It's like tomato jerky.
Yeah, it is like tomato jerky. Yeah, and it's amazing. I like having them on pizza, and I think it would be great on a grilled cheese.
Back to this grilled cheese with the cockroach. As you said, I do feel bad for the business to be publicly shamed like this. Like, I don't blame her for taking the photo and putting it up online, but then it goes viral or whatever the right word is.
Yeah.
It's a news story. It does not look bad. It does not look good for Pink Cadillac Restaurant, but I think the news was quite helpful in making it clear that many restaurants in that area have similar problems with pest control, and it seems like this company or this restaurant is doing everything right by shutting down, doing a deep clean, having ongoing and reoccurring pest control measures taken in the restaurant. It just kind of sucks for them to get the public black eye. One thing I didn't realize until this story is that cockroach infestations in restaurants in Saskatoon has skyrocketed.
Yes.
This is like a thing there. We don't have cockroaches in Nova Scotia, as far as I know. I've never seen one.
I've never seen one either. I've never heard of anybody seeing one here, but I could be wrong. I haven't looked up that information if cockroaches are in Nova Scotia.
I think the only reason they would be if they came in on like people's bags or furniture or whatever from other parts of the world or country. But if we don't have them, if they're not a common problem here in Nova Scotia, why would Saskatoon have them? Because they have a pretty similar climate.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speak to that.
Have you ever seen a cockroach at all in life?
I don't think I have, unless I saw one, because sometimes at the mall, there's this, I've seen this insect display. It's like from a museum or something. They bring in these insects and they put them, at the mall.
Okay, sure.
And it's for educational purposes. So all of these dead, displayed insects are there, and you just look around at them and see them. So maybe there was one in one of those. I don't know, but yeah, I do feel bad for this restaurant because it's really hard to rebound from something like this. Nobody is going to go to your restaurant after you were on the news for a cockroach grilled cheese.
Yeah, I believe they have reopened. Like, this all happened over the weekend. I think they actually just reopened after a deep clean.
Right.
So hopefully the news gives them the opportunity to make it right by highlighting everything they've done. But we're not going to feel bad just for the Pink Cadillac restaurant in Saskatoon. Let's move on to another story related to food seasoning that's going to have another victim that we feel pretty awful for, I suspect. This is a really interesting one, and it does call back to some things that we've talked about before. It's about a business out of Ottawa that's run by a 22-year-old woman who she's been doing this for about 9 years, making these kind of seasoning packets, like mixes, and selling them initially at kind of like craft fair type of market sort of places. But it's grown into quite a business. To give a sense of what she does, I'm going to play a little news clip of her appearing on CTV. I think this is last year just before Christmas, doing one of those segments where she's kind of showing her products and allowing the hosts of the show to try what she has. But let's get a listen to Better Times for Spice Girls, Spices in Ottawa.
We are ready to spice up life a little bit. Lily Bond joins us from Spice Girls, and it is a perfect time to have you in. Good morning!
Good morning!
So holiday season is creeping in. We're just weeks away now, so we've got some delicious meals that you've got prepped with your amazing spices.
Yes, our new spice blends too, brand new. Ooh! Yes, the official release.
All right, so tell me about the first one you got here, what you've got.
Yes, so the holiday season, this is your holiday secret ingredient. Put it on your turkey, put it on your chicken, put it on your potatoes. It's got lots of flavors of like rosemary, sage, and thyme. It's also great for leftovers. Like my mom makes a killer turkey pot pie with it. That is so good.
Lily, thank you for coming on the show. And again, congratulations. And we will continue to spice up your life with Spice Girls.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
So that gives you a little sense of like the kind of business. And who you heard in that clip there is 22-year-old Lily Bond, who runs the Spice Girls business. Based on the name, you maybe see where this is going, but let me tell you about it. On episode 196, we talked about a bizarre Canadian trademark fight that took place over the phrase sex, drugs, and lobster rolls. Tonight, we have an even more ridiculous one. The 22-year-old Lily Bond from Ottawa has been slowly growing her food seasoning mix business for almost 10 years. But things recently got very complicated when she received a threatening letter from the lawyers representing the 90s pop group, the Spice Girls.
Lily Bond is making taco spice from a homemade recipe that she started selling in local farmers markets as a 13-year-old girl.
My mom was often with me when I was younger, and because she was helping me out, so it was like, oh, there's the Spice Girls.
The name stuck in 2017. Then a year later, her spice made it onto grocery shelves in Ottawa.
I loved creating something of my own, and seeing that on the shelves, it was the most rewarding and incredible experience of my life.
To differentiate herself, Bond changed the spelling, replacing an I with a Y and using a Z. She applied for a trademark in 2022, and a year later, it was approved by the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. She rented space in a commercial kitchen and expanded her flavors, selling them in more stores. Then in 2024, she got a letter from a law firm representing Ginger, Sporty, Baby, Posh, and Scary. It wasn't what she really wanted. Bond was accused of trademark infringement. Lawyers said that consumers could mistakenly believe that her goods were somehow associated with the real Spice Girls.
It was a little scary. It was pretty overwhelming. I was really just trying to focus on, making the spices.
With not enough money to hire a lawyer to fight a potential lawsuit, Bond is giving up, an experience that has left her disillusioned with the super girl band.
I think that they have a band that is, or a brand essentially, that was built around female empowerment. And that's why part of me believes that maybe they don't know, because if they really are promoting or continuing to promote what they had built their brand on, I don't think they themselves would want to take me down for it.
Bond will now have to change the name of her company, just as a national grocery chain has expressed interest in carrying her spices, in part because of the branding.
That sucks. They end the clip by this national grocer is considering carrying Spice Girls spices in part because of the branding. I wonder if that company realized that it wasn't associated with the actual Spice Girls.
Well, this is what's so problematic about using a name like that, is that instantly when you see Spice Girls, even if it's spelled differently, you're thinking of the Spice Girls. And so in this story, I agree with the lawyers or whoever are representing the Spice Girls. I don't think Baby Spice and Posh Spice and Scary Spice are,
and Ginger
and Sporty, yeah.
Who's your favorite though?
Baby.
Okay, I've always liked Sporty. She was the best singer, and I found
she was the best singer. But who are we talking about? Are we talking about who I think is the best singer, or who I want to be my girlfriend?
Let's go girlfriend.
Baby Spice.
Posh
is yours. Yeah.
Best singer.
Oh, that's Sporty Spice.
Sporty. Okay. Anyway, as you were saying, you don't think...
I don't think they're sitting around in a evil lair somewhere being like a small spice company in Canada is using our name. We must stomp it out. I think it's just you have teams of lawyers and people who represent the organization of the Spice Girls, and they look for copyright infringements all over the place, and then they send cease and desist letters, and they say you can't do that, it's infringement, yada yada yada. But in this circumstance, they sent that because she's using the name Spice Girls as a play on words in terms of she's selling a spice, she's a female.
Yeah, and it was her and her mom originally at the market, so people referred to them as the Spice Girls. And she must have anticipated some problem by changing the spelling of the name. Like, she must have been like, ooh, that name's problematic. I'm going to, like, change the spelling. But that's not enough.
It's not enough. No, even if you're getting permission in Canada to do it, it's still, when people see Spice Girls, they think of the Spice Girls, the musical group.
Yeah.
And so before they started launching into grocery stores, they should have changed the name completely to completely avoid any potential issues, because now they have to backtrack and pretty much start over.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but like it was a dumb thing to do.
To let it get to this point. It wasn't mentioned in that clip, but the company generates about $100,000 a year in sales. So it is a big company, and it's at the point where they need to make sure they're doing things right. But they have currently 10,000 packages, like plastic packages of their product with the Spice Girls branding on it that they're now afraid to sell or can't sell. And this wasn't mentioned in the article. It seems like they got this letter from the Spice Girls legal team in 2024. I don't know what, and I couldn't figure out why now, March of 2026, they're shutting things down. Maybe because they're about to sign this deal, or we're on the cusp of signing a deal with a national grocer, and maybe there's they had a legal review or something. I wasn't able to understand what made this happen now, but I'm sure she could come up with a name that's similar to Spice Girls, like the Spicy Girl or Spice Girl. Well, maybe that wouldn't be enough, but
yeah, or just Spicy Girls or something. Yeah, I don't know. I would need to speak to someone who is educated and experienced in trademark law or whatever.
But it just can't be Spice Girls. If you were a company that sold like polished stones that you use a rock tumbler and like polish them, you wouldn't call the company Rolling Stones.
No, you wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. And a part of her defense or her argument was that I don't even make, like, it's not like I'm making music or anything. I'm making like food seasoning. So it's a whole different business. But a company like a group like the Spice Girls and that brand, they're in so many different industries. Who's to say they're not going to sign some deal for, food seasoning thing somewhere in the future? So I kind of get it from both sides. I could see how she was able to get away with it when she was a smaller business, but it's at the point now where, unfortunately, she has to make this change.
If any artist is going to have a food spice product named after them, it's the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, right. And the Rolling Stones should start a polished rock business. But the other thing is, if you need to protect your trademark as well, because if they allow her in Ottawa to have a company called Spice Girls, when the real Spice Girls are negotiating branding, collabs, and all this stuff, they lose a bit of the power if people could just use that name, if other people are allowed to do it.
Yeah, and they're not going after her for the money. They're going after her for the precedent that it would set. If she was allowed to use Spice Girls on her Spice product, then anybody could use Spice Girls on whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. It's a bad situation. I feel bad for Miss Bond. When she does rebrand, if she listens to the show, which I'm sure she does, she should let us know and we can plug her new company, because I'd like to try it. Lately, I've been making this. I think I may have mentioned it on the show before. I've been making a lot of like tacos.
I know.
And I just add different seasoning, and I'm usually just doing taco seasoning into the meat and grill it and all this stuff. But I'd like to branch out and try some different things. And I bet you Lily Bond has some great ideas on seasoning packets or seasoning mixes that are low carb that I could mix in with beef, pork, turkey, chicken, and really light up my taste buds. So reach out.
Yeah, that would be really great for you, and it would be great for her too. And certainly in our experiences, like with Cove Soda, it's been a rocky experience in terms of promoting a brand on this show. But I'm sure it would be fine with her. She could come on and talk about her product, and we would promote it and use it, and and it would be a nice, healthy relationship.
Let's think about fostering that relationship as we go into our second break. When we get back, we got quite a few voicemails and a story related to dogs that's really going to take us back to something we talked about last week. After a short break, we're going to hear about another lost dog. Handsome Aaron Airport. We're back to talk about dogs. You remember last week we heard the story of Homer, the sweet little dog whose sweet little owner lost him and had this desperate search that lasted for 60 days. They were worried about his medication, the whole 9 yards. You remember Homer, I'm sure.
I do, yeah. That was a great story. It was great to have a happy ending on a story on this show.
Well, buckle up, because it seems like as it's happened before, it seems like our coverage of that story may have manifested a few things. But first, let's hear a bit of feedback on Homer's journey by way of a correspondent named Danielle, who we've heard from before. Listen to what Danielle has to say about Homer's story.
Hello, Jordan Bonaparte and handsome Aaron Airport. This is your faithful listener and correspondent from Ottawa, Canada, Danielle. I was in touch with you guys a few years ago when I left you a voice note about some Tim Hortons recon work I was doing in Morocco. I'm happy to report I'm back safe and sound after that amazing mega adventure and the potentially dicey Tim Hortons situation, as you guys pointed out on the show. I'm leaving you another voice note now because I was just listening to the latest episode of Keep Canada Weird, my favorite segment of the show, about the little terrier mix called Homer. It was such a heartwarming story. I used to be a dog owner myself, and thinking about losing my dog, thinking he went missing, almost brought tears to my eyes. So I'm so happy that the story had a happy ending, a good ending, and he made it home after his 80 days. Now, the reason for my voice note today is I couldn't help but notice, given the dog's name, and I know the main character is not Homer, but I can't believe no one made an allusion to Homer's Odyssey, because that little Homer had an Odyssey all his own, certainly. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great day, and maybe I'll be in touch again in another few years.
Do you remember her situation in Morocco with Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
It was appearing on Google Maps, wasn't it? And then she went.
Yeah, but then she couldn't find it.
She went there, and it was just like an apartment building. And we theorized that maybe it was just someone trying to like trap and kidnap Canadians in Morocco.
Yeah.
She survived, but she made a good point with Homer's Odyssey. I think yourself, myself, and the people who cover that story on the news, I think we're just not classic literature buffs. I would have been more keen to make a joke about Homer Simpson, I guess.
That's where I thought she was going with it. And then when she said, she was like, I can't believe nobody referenced Homer. And then I was expecting, Homer Simpson. And then she said, Homer's Odyssey. And I was like, oh, nerd.
Nerd. What a smart girl like that listen to a podcast like this.
Yeah,
Imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shocking we didn't make the Homer's Odyssey joke.
Yeah, maybe some other time.
Happy to hear from you again, Danielle. But if you like that story, you're going to love this one. For the second week in a row, we've got a weird lost dog story. And last week in Keep Canada Weird 203, again, we heard about Homer, the terrier who was missing in Montreal for 80 days. Now there's another unbelievable canine survival story. This one may be even more dramatic. Here's the story of Harley the Survivor.
Matthew Osborne didn't know if he'd ever see his beloved dog Harley again.
He's back home, so that's all that matters. Hopefully many more years to come.
As a truck driver, his dog kept him company while on the road, but on August 12th, they were in a bad crash in New Brunswick.
I basically tried to turn right to get, because I knew the truck went left, so I turned right to get back to the highway. And by that time, I hit the brakes, and the truck went airborne.
This was his truck before, and this was after. Somehow they both survived, but in the chaos, Harley got away.
Poor boy here, he went through the windshield.
Osborne was in hospital for weeks, and Harley was in the wild.
It's been a long road. For the first few weeks, I couldn't even move from the injuries in the hospital. Went from that to a wheelchair, then to a walker, then to a cane. So I had two great parents taking care of me and looking after trying to get my dog.
As summer turned to fall and then winter set in, Harley was still out there.
They had nights up there, it was in the minus 30s and very cold, but he didn't give up and neither did we.
Exactly 6 months to the day of the crash, Harley was finally found.
The relief and the worry of it all being over, the stress just dropped.
Harley was taken to the vet and essentially got a clean bill of health. Osborne is beyond grateful to have his best friend home.
Big thanks to everybody that helped, and the firefighters, the ambulance, everybody that helped for me to survive.
While Matthew Osborne still has quite a bit of recovering to do following last summer's crash, he at least now has his dog Harley by his side for support.
That story is just unbelievable. Again, we say this so often, but people who are listening only, you don't see the news clip, that it was a big like transfer trailer truck, like a 18-wheeler or whatever. It was absolutely demolished. In the photos of like that after the accident, this truck is like just like this mangled mess on the side of a highway in the middle of nowhere. The dog ends up going through the windshield, probably is scared or injured or whatever, and takes off into the woods. Yet somehow, 6 months later to the day, it was actually on Friday the 13th, that they found Harley in the woods. A trapper trapped him.
Yeah, it's good to have trappers on your side when you have a missing pet out there.
He's just been hiding out there in New Brunswick in the woods. But actually, like this whole thing with the trappers, I've heard of this before. There was a missing cat in my neighborhood. It was actually a guy I know's cat. And he had posters all over trying to find the cat, and people were reporting sightings and stuff. And then someone set up like this little cage thing and ended up, that's how they caught the cat. They knew kind of which area it was in. They put the cage thing out, and the cat, with some kind of bait, the cat went in it, and that's how he got his cat back.
Yeah, I ended up catching a cat that way one time. When I lived in my house that I sold a few years ago, I was having a raccoon problem. As you know, we've talked about raccoons an infinite amount of times on this show. And they were ripping up my back deck, and I had set some traps. This local raccoon guy had showed up, and he had set a few traps for the raccoons in my yard. And he had baited them with like this little cup of like, it's like a mixture of like bananas and honey and like really sweet kind of mixture. And also he put a trail of marshmallows leading into the traps.
Okay.
And I never caught a raccoon in them. So he left. He's like, we'll leave them out for a week. Message me if you catch anything. So never caught any raccoons. But one day I went out and checked the traps, and there was a cat. And these are humane traps.
Yeah.
You know, but there was a cat in one of the traps. So
weird. So
that was the only thing I caught.
I'm just disappointed that we didn't hear about the cat eating a marshmallow. That sounds adorable. I've never thought a cat would have any interest in a marshmallow. I'd like to see that.
I don't know if it ate the marshmallows or if it was the mixture of the bananas and the honey and whatever else he had mixed up in there.
A raccoon would go for marshmallows for sure. But
yes,
this guy, and I'm sure Danielle is moved by this story as well. What really like pulled at my heartstrings is this idea that they present at the end of the news clip where the man is in recovery, but now he's able to do it with his dog by his side, his best friend by his side. I think that's a great story. And I'm not afraid to tell you right now that I have a dog named Penny. She's an absolute angel who has never done anything wrong, but she has done many things right, like enriched my life and filled my heart to the brim. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I have a voicemail from a listener named Reese who got my back on talking about Penny here.
All right, boys. It's Reese from Waterford, New Brunswick here. Just had to stop the podcast. It's Friday night. Just making supper here with me and my beloved dogs. We have to address something. That's a dog screaming there. Come on in, guys. We gotta set Aaron straight here. Jordan, you recently got a dog named Penny, and having a little special dog is just absolutely the light of someone's life. So I want to hear more of you talking about how you feel about Penny and your guys' excellent relationship, and that's something Aaron shouldn't be putting a stop to because he can't understand. He can't understand what it's like to have a dog if he only has a cat. Now, I'm not putting down Ken Tiggs, but there's a different thing that we got to look at here. It's just not the same ballpark. It's not the same ballpark. So keep it going with the dog love, Jordan. Love the podcast. Love you both. Just keep it moving. Let's keep talking about Penny. She's great.
Thank you, Reese. I intend to. I hope that didn't come across as an attack on Ken Tiggs, but I think the demands of a dog versus a cat are different. I think having a cat in your house is like having like a 17 or 18-year-old. Having a dog, they're like a perpetual 5-year-old. It's a different thing.
Do you want to know what I think is really going on here?
Please.
So I think Reese knows exactly how to push my buttons. And what I really think is going on here is Reese doesn't actually care about you talking about Penny. What Reese really wants is to be banned.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You think?
So Reese wants to be banned. Reese loves being banned. So Reese is like, how can I get banned from Keep Canada Weird? And it's like,
and he wants it hard, too.
He wants to be banned pretty hard. So Reese decides, I know what'll get me banned. Is I'm going to call up and I'm going to say how much I love Jordan talking about Penny and keep talking about Penny and more Penny talk, and dogs are in a different ballpark than cats, and and I'll state for the record, I love dogs. Love dogs. My issue with Jordan and how he talks about Penny is Jordan likes to put Penny on a different level than anybody else's animal. So I think Jordan here thinks Penny is better than Reese's dogs and anybody else's dogs that are out there. And Jordan thinks that Penny is better than Ken Tiggs. And so anyway, Reese knows all this, and I know what's happening here. So Reese, you want to be banned. I get it. So here you go. You got what you were looking for. Reese, you're banned. You're banned for, I'm going to say, a year. You're
1 dog year.
Yeah, 1 dog year. So whatever that means to you.
I think that counts as consensual because Reese knew damn well what he was getting into sending that voicemail. That's he served it up on a silver platter for you. So Reese, I hope it was worth it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, he's loving it. He's listening right now and he's like, oh God, yes. I wish I could get banned again. A dog year is so long.
I think we've been through enough here. We've kept Canada weird by unpacking our first ever food ingredient segment with the Spice Girls and the Cockroach. A little bit disturbing. Didn't make me hungry, that one, but it was a good time. There's still a lot up in the air at the end of this episode with Cove Soda. I think it's best probably to just put a bow on things now, have the army regroup, and we'll see what Cove's next move is. I'll tell you, I'm going to be watching my mailbox like a hawk to see what happens. I'm at the edge of my seat and I have my seat right next to my mailbox.
Yeah. And I'll be patiently waiting myself to see what Cove says. The boycott is on. It's all systems go. It's official. The army, the Keep Canada Weird Army, now has to take it from here and boycott Cove Soda and also make sure that everybody else in their life boycotts Cove Soda.
But if you have it in your fridge, just don't drink it. Just sit it there because we'll see what happens next.
Yeah. You might be able to hold on to that, but maybe put a piece of tape over it or something like
over the logo.
Tape. Yeah, over the logo. And then put it in the back of the fridge and cover it with some orange juice bottles or kind of bury it in there so you don't see it when you open the fridge so it looks like you don't have any Cove Soda in there. That would probably be the best thing. And if you're in the grocery store and there's some Cove soda on the shelves, maybe find some other pop to put in front of it so that, the people who are wandering the grocery aisles can't see the Cove soda. And then if the ban gets lifted, go back and fix it.
That's right. All right, let's put a bow on this. Handsome Aaron Airport, until next time.
Jordan, bus stop, backhoe, Bonaparte, until next time.
I'm hungry. I want a snack. It is not going to be a grilled cheese tonight. I'm sorry. Can't do it.
You're not going to eat a grilled cheese tonight?
I'm not going to eat a grilled cheese probably for 6 months.
Is there a keto-friendly grilled cheese you could make?
Yeah. I have keto-friendly bread where it's just like it's really high fiber bread. So I have grilled cheese all the time. And I put a ton of cheese and a ton of butter because fat's okay with keto. But no, I need to take a little break after this cockroach situation.
And Jordan, until next time, just like people are boycotting cockroaches in grilled cheese, we are boycotting Cove soda. Until next week, Cove. Until next week.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.